Hello everybody, this is my 1986 Toyota pickup, and when I bought this thing, it's a really clean truck, but this flatbed just kills me. Just to take one look at it, it is kind of a hacked together, just pile of garbage is what it is really. As you can see right here, there's giant notches pulled out of the frame. You know, only one or two welds here or there that hold the whole thing together, and this whole front section has no support under that flatbed. And as we move back to the rear of it, this taillight situation is fantastic. Just look at that, screwed to the bumper under the deck. So first things first, I needed to pull this flatbed off of the truck, and by doing that I only have some pipe jack stands, so I welded some stuff to the side of it and worked on jacking it up into the sky here. And once I had it up, it was pretty easy at that point. And then I needed to get some OSHA approved sawhorses underneath this thing so that I could start taking it apart. I first started by removing the headache rack, which is surprisingly heavy. Then I needed to get rid of a bunch of that terrible understructure, and they had this thing welded in all kinds of directions and sideways. There were a few spots that I struggled pretty hard to get it apart. This is one of those examples. I had to do quite a bit of bending and cutting to get this thing to come apart. So here I'm cutting the top of the deck down to size, making it just a little bit more narrow. It originally was way too wide for that truck. And if you look in the background, you can see my daughter pushing my little baby boy around in his walker, and they had too much fun that day. So here I've cut 2-inch 90s into quarters and a piece of 2-inch pipe in half, and I'm using those to make a nice clean edge along the side of this flat. Give it a bit of a rounded look to the edges of the bed. So a 2-inch 90 has the exact same outside radius as a piece of 8-inch Schedule 40 pipe. So that's what I'm using here to give it a nice clean radius on the rear of the truck. I've welded on some 2/4 of an 8-inch pipe, and then started putting the rear and side skins on at this point. And you know, as it goes, working with old equipment and old parts, some things just don't fit perfect as you go about doing the work. Here we're getting the side skins tacked in place. And then I've gone through and marked out a nice contour for the rear quarters of this flatbed, giving a nice clean look from the rear where the taillights will be all the way to the wheels. And this is where I am going to attach the flatbed to the truck. I have 4-inch C-channel and 3-inch angle iron stacked on top of each other to give myself the clearance for the wheels, and I have put those channels on the truck and then am welding the angle iron to those channels. And here I'm attaching the angle irons to the bed of the truck. So I've started working on this headache rack. 1.5-inch pipe is what I'm using on this rack. Tacking on a few pieces, pulling some measurements, of course, because you got to double check every measurement. Here I've prefabbed what's left of the rack and getting it tacked into place. Now I was going for a kind of 90s pickup roll bar look with this, so I opted to do some kind of double angled 45-degree kickers on this headache rack, and putting a nice skin on there so you don't run your motorcycle through the front of your or the back of your cab. And also, I want this flatbed to be functional as a truck bed, so I have sides for it that will go on there and a rear board so that you don't have to worry about everything sliding off of this bed. That's the one thing I hate the most about a flatbed, is worrying about everything sliding off the side of it. Here I'm capping these roll bar gussets just to keep stuff from sliding off the bed mostly. And this is what we originally started with: a flatbed that's too big, too wide, and way too heavy for this little truck, and it just lacked that luster that you just need on that flatbed, especially for a truck like this. And here is the finished product with our sides and boards installed.